a gentle bell to introduce our lovely author of The Gentle Way, Tom T. Moore. Welcome to the Dancing Oracle with Najia. I'm here today to talk about earth changes in 2026 with Tom T. Moore, who has written two amazing new books all about that. And Tom is an award winning author and speaker. His books include The Gentle Way, a self help guide for those who believe in angels. It's a 4-book series, as well as First Contact, Conversations with an ET, and Atlantis and Lemuria, The Lost Continents Revealed. And I want you all to visit his website. I'll put it in my show description. It is www.thegentlewaybook.com. And thank you so much, Tom, for joining me again today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. We're having a time. We're having a great time.
Oh my God, we're having a really good time today. We're doing another part. We got talking quite a while, all about, in part one, the resources you need to navigate 2026, because you will need your spiritual resources. And Tom has very simple methods for contacting your angels and guides and having your prayers answered, having the guidance, having things work out according to your soul contract. So please watch that first video. Tom, tell us some of the most important things coming on the horizon for 2026.
Sure. Um, for several years, when I communicate with Gaia, the soul of the earth, um, we've had I've been allowed to have updates every 6 months in January and June about the possible events of earthquakes on the West Coast and the volcano at Yellowstone having a major eruption. And during these last few years, most of the time it's been like a 63% chance of that of earthquakes happening on the West Coast and about a 73% chance of Yellowstone erupting. But she's also told me if any time during the 6 months you suddenly see a large migration of people out of California
Yeah.
and a large migration of people into California, then you'll know that I've been given permission by your souls to make these major earth changes. So in January of 2025, um, as I was asking her the questions, she said, Tom, you know that there is a major migration. It's because uh, of the fires in Los Angeles, and there's over 75% of the people that um, uh, have experienced this event, they will experience these events in 2026. And um, I'm also now told that by Gaia that uh, that's not going to be the only place that burns. There's going to be another town or city that also burns. And I just received that information, gosh, in the last 2 or 3 weeks that
Mm.
that there is going because somebody was asking, well, what about the forest fires in California and the West Coast and that's the message that I was given that yes, there's of course going to be a major fire season, but also there's going to be another town or city that burns.
So, Tom, what does it mean that I can understand there's a major migration out following all the fires? People are like, I've had enough of this. I can't even have
Yes.
insurance for my home anymore. It's a
Well,
big
then
risk.
no place for the kids to go to
No,
school.
Exactly. That's another.
Their work, grocery stores, banks, you name it. Okay, so
What
there
does
are
it mean,
many
migration going in? That part I don't understand.
because their guardian angels want these people to experience that event because they never have experienced an earthquake or a volcano in their past lives. And so
Mm.
uh, when you volunteer for what's called the Earth experiment, you have to volunteer as part of the volunteer. You have to experience every single thing the Earth has to offer, and that includes earthquakes and volcanoes. So that's why there will be people. There'll be younger souls for the most part, like maybe first and second quadrant young souls. All souls are divided into quadrants. There's four quadrants for young soul, there's four quadrants for medium souls, and four quadrants, I understand, for old souls. And and most of the 70% of the people living on Earth at this time are young souls. And then 20% are medium souls, and 10% are old souls.
Very interesting. I wonder how that was, say, 100 years ago, the percentages. Have you ever asked
No, I haven't.
Gaia? That would be an interesting question.
Somebody will have to ask that question.
So when he says somebody will have to ask that question, he really means it.
Hmm.
Tom is very unusual. He's very old-fashioned in the best sense.
Okay.
He reads each and every email that he gets, and he tries to answer your questions. He'll do it in a special meditation session and for no charge, and then he puts it in his writings. So if you want to participate in asking Spirit any questions, you can actually write to him. And and you can, these.
Ask the question. But before you do that, be sure um, uh, to check to see if I've asked the question before.
Oh
And
yeah, because you have a directory in your 900 articles on your website blog, right?
mhm,
You could search in the search bar. Yeah, because you don't want to ask it twice, and then he gets overwhelmed with emails. See if it's already been asked, and if
yes.
if it's already been answered, you got your answer. But if it
Uh,
hasn't been asked,
And there's a lot of questions, obviously, that have come in since January. Now, after I received that information in January, I finally had to cut off everything, I think somewhere around April.
yeah,
And since that time, I've received large numbers of questions um, about what's going to happen in 2026. But in my volume one, uh, Conversations with Gaia, I have 83 pages devoted to what's coming. And
yes,
and it's not something that I would want to happen. I'm in international film and TV program distribution business. 70% or so of my library is presently stored in Burbank and Hollywood. And so we've got to make major decisions as to how we're going to handle that um, coming up for 2026 because with the initial information, um, the first 3 months of 2026, we'll start seeing what are called precursor earthquakes on
yeah,
the West Coast. And we're talking about all the West Coast. We're talking about Tijuana to the Aleutian Islands. And these are precursors. And this year, Gaia said she won't have any above a 5.0 to a 5.3, although there will be a lot of smaller ones. And starting in the first 3 months of 2026, these precursors will go from 6 to 6.5 with hundreds of earthquakes smaller than that. And then finally, in somewhere around late May to June, that's when the whole West Coast will erupt in sevens, eights, and nine intensity earthquakes. And it will not just be one and done or two and done. It will go on for months and months, if
Wow.
not years. So that's something that's never happened before. She says, you have not seen this in modern times. So keep that in mind. So that's when that happens, then the second thing that will also happen, it will break open a chasm or a, and and when it does, that will allow the caldera at Yellowstone to fill, and it will have a super volcano that will have a 250-mile kill radius, and there will be an ash cloud that will go on for months and months and months that will stream across the upper part of the United States and the lower part of Canada all the way to Chicago. And it will create a a mini ice age because the ash cloud will not allow the snow to melt, and it will not you'll not be able to live in those in that portions of the countries.
What from where to where would the ice age
From Yellowstone to Chicago.
to Chicago?
Yeah, yeah,
So so it literally would be frozen all year round?
yes,
Wow. I do remember there was a mini ice age in the history of our country,
yes.
actually. We did have one. Do you do you happen to know around what time period that was in
I
America?
don't, but 10,000, let's take a
Oh, no,
guess.
no, but no, really within America, like it did happen
Yeah,
a mini ice age.
yeah, I
Wow.
know.
Yeah, but
And
I don't,
now
yeah.
there's something that just came on my one of my readers, uh, uh, believe it or not, from Philadelphia, I think,
Oh, like
sent
me.
me, sent me this that there's a BBC movie called Super Volcano, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. I've only looked at maybe the first 5 minutes or so. I hope to watch it this weekend. And but it seems to have some of the things that are actually going to happen included in that sort of a docudrama. But supposedly it was pretty well done. If the BBC did it, typically they have the money to do it.
You know what? I'm sensing a lot of underwater volcanoes, although I haven't seen them in my vision, but I've seen a lot of water sloshing, a lot of flooding, a lot of elevated ocean level.
There's
Have you seen
there's
underwater
going to be
volcanoes?
tsunami after tsunami after tsunami, and they're not. Uh, Gaia said also you haven't seen these in modern times. That there will be these tsunamis that will cause 40, 50, even 100-foot high tsunamis, and these will go across the Pacific, and they'll people will have to move away from the coast because it will not be a safe place to live.
And that would be the West Coast, but what about the East Coast? I don't see the tsunami engulfing everything, but I see this strange phenomenon happening on the East
Okay.
Coast in my visions. So,
What's going to happen now? It's not going, half of California is not going to drop into the ocean. It's going to be it's going to be mostly coastline. Okay. There will Gaia wants everybody to live farther in the interior, and so parts of the coastline, all up and down the west coast, are going to drop into the ocean, and that's going to cause all the oceans of the world to rise 3 feet.
yeah.
So that's where your flooding on the east coast will come. Anyone living uh, close to the water line on the east coast will see a 3 foot rise. Oh, and it'll take several months because all the land will not just drop at once. It'll be a chunk here and a chunk there, and and it will slowly but surely rise the 3 feet.
One of the things I saw in my repeated visions over the years was New York being underwater, but still functioning, almost like
Well,
Venice.
yeah, well, I mean, think places like Battery Park, the subways are going to flood
Oh,
or
yeah.
flood. That's going to happen, I understand, in New York City. And even, places like Washington, D.C., that's in sort of a, what do they call it, a bay or something, if I'm calling it semi-correctly,
Yeah.
they're going to have flooding.
So how far, I mean, I don't know if you're able to see this, because we all see a little piece of the puzzle differently as psychics. How far inland do you think on the East Coast, because I live there? I mean, I'm not on the coastline, I'm 100 miles from the beach.
You're
But
fine.
I see the beach being about a few miles from my house.
Well, it's only going to be 3 feet up, so
Yeah, so I don't know if
anything
it's
that's
because,
low lying, and of course if you have any storms that come through, it's going to shove the water farther inland. If it's,
yeah, and a
if
lot
it's
of, yeah,
so that's
I
that's
mean, a lot of New Jersey and Delaware is zero elevation. Like that's the hard part. Even if it's 100, I know like Delaware is like 10 feet, or
mm,
zero, and lots of
didn't
Philly
know
is
that.
actually below sea level. There's parts of
They're
Philly
gonna,
when things get bad, it's actually below sea level.
they're gonna maybe have some problems there.
Yeah, so
So
I just,
it's um there's just a lot that's going to happen. These tsunamis are, going to touch places such as Australia and New Zealand and um, just these tsunamis will ripple across the world, and that's uh, you know you've got to move away from the coast.
yeah, and that's why I have Tom on my show. It's not to scare people. It's
No,
to just give you some food for thought and see how it resonates within you, because everybody has to follow their guidance system. So you may
yeah,
have a soul contract to stay put. Um,
and it may be
that's
okay,
and you
but
may be okay where you're at, like, because you can be protected. Like,
yeah,
one of the place, I would have my mermaid retreats down at the beach. They had the whole place burnt down except for certain buildings, and they don't know why these certain buildings didn't catch on fire when the ones right next to them caught on fire, you know? And the whole town had to be rebuilt at one point except for a few buildings. So you can be
so
protected.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, One thing to mention, Hawaii is going to get really hard hit because of all these multiple tsunamis. There'll be maybe a tsunami from California that'll go across, then a tsunami from the Aleutians, then a tsunami uh, from Lower Canada, and so
Yeah.
they're going to hit one after another, and they, in order to avoid drowning, they're going to have to go to higher land, but they
Yeah.
have to be able to live for weeks, if not months, without uh, without supplies. They have to bring their own supplies with them.
Oh, because that's, yeah, if you don't have your own, like what happened to people even just in Asheville, North Carolina,
Mhm.
how isolated they were,
Yeah.
and that's like nothing like a tsunami. Like that was the flooding that you wouldn't think would happen in the mountains because
Yes.
people that went through that. So luckily Hawaii does have a lot of beautiful mountain area. That's
Yes.
good. There's not all
I'm
flat.
told there are parts of Oahu that will be okay to be, to travel up to, parts of the Big Island because they have a lot of mountainous areas. But again, it's supplies. Where are they going to get their supplies from?
Yeah, you need supplies to live. You can't be
And
isolated and cut off.
and people keep asking me, well, you have to understand, people, Gaia says We've never seen this in modern times. So typically, as an example, in California, there was the North Bridge earthquake, or or even going farther back to 1906 or 12 or whatever it
Yeah, the
was,
big
the
one,
San
yeah.
Francisco quake.
Hmm.
But those were one and done,
One
you
and
know,
done, yeah.
with some aftershocks. But Gaia says this is not going to be one and done. These are going to continue on for months and months. And so you,
Months and months and months of earthquakes and tsunamis.
yes. And and so uh, you're going to have a supply of food and whatever it is that you need to live. And even in places that are not readily affected, and I'm talking about even in places in the middle of the country, there's going to be a lack of supplies that
Yeah, and I
are
saw that coming. I turned into such a
one,
flipper.
1, 3 months of food
Yeah.
you need to be storing. In my house, we already have 3 racks full of food and things
Yeah,
like that.
I got a lot. I had my big because I started having the dreams about 3 years ago, the flooding ones, and seeing the coastline and all this other thing. So I started, okay, I'm weatherproofing my basement now because I can't move. It's too hard to move. So I weatherproofed just half the basement where it would get bad. And
Okay.
I got plastic bins and I got a lot of canned goods in there and some grains and things like that. It'll last a while for me and my friends, because I know my other friends aren't preppers. Like I
Yeah.
turned into a
Just
prepper, from all
just
this.
keep on
Great.
slowly adding to it if you can. I have a list of emergency supplies on my website. If you go to my website, www.thegentlewaybook.com, there's a list of emergency supplies I put together years ago. And, you can work off of that, but obviously, uh, since this is going to last for a long period of time as compared to what I thought I was going to, uh, you know, one or two and earthquakes and that it's it, but it's not. And you know, that's that's hard for people even to imagine.
It is. It is
And
hard because we're all
even
traumatized. We haven't gotten over everything else we've been dealing with.
yeah, and
Everything's
most of the
changed
people
so
on the
much.
West Coast, think, oh, if I'm going to have a hard earthquake, well, yeah, it's going to mess things up, but then we'll rebuild. The problem with this is there going to be no rebuilding because they're going to come one after another, and and even if your house is standing right now, after the third or fourth major quake,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a house or no running water and
Front
sewage.
water. No
Um,
sewage.
yeah, I mean, so not. I don't have the nicest news, but all I can tell you is what I've been told. Gaia says is going to happen.
You might need a bucket with a toilet seat and some kitty litter in there. Like, you know, I mean, like you gotta have prep stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you're going camping.
Yes,
Think about if you were going camping and you,
that and,
you know what I mean?
and a rubber inner tube. So,
Oh God, yeah, because if it's flood, we had like when I first moved into my house, like almost 30 years ago, we had some major floods here. They were 3 stories high. People were in blow up rafts.
mm,
I mean, there was parts that are technically under sea level here, I guess, or
mm.
it was bad. It was crazy. It was crazy. So,
So anyway,
you have to be
that's
prepared.
yeah. Uh, get the book. Uh,
Gentle way. Oh, no, 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 no. Gaia,
Conversations
Conversations with
with
Gaia.
Gaia, Volume 1 has the 83 pages to give you a sort of synopsis. And of course, since then, people have asked about specific locations where they live and uh, and you can go to my website. You can sign up for the free weekly newsletter on the first page of the website. You can also go to the articles and news page and just start reading somewhere around April on to see the questions uh, that are not in the book that have come up since.
So I want to say something about Tom's book is really well organized for easy reading and finding things because he has it the whole synopsis in the beginning, and then he has all the questions in bold print, and then he answers them. And you could see everything really clearly. Like if you're looking for a very specific area that you want to read about and you're like, I want to jump forward, you can do
Yeah.
that. It's really, really done nicely for the
Took
reader.
us a while, let me tell
You
you.
while
Well over a year.
I could see that. Yeah, so there's a lot to know about what is coming up. And I just also want to say, Tom, he talks about the different timelines. So it also depends on your timeline. It all depends on your soul contract. There's, you
And
could
if
be,
you request a benevolent outcome for the
yes.
perfect place to live for you, you will be guided. Okay, keep that in mind. I request the most benevolent outcome to be guided to live in the perfect place for me, and listen to those whispers in your ear.
Yeah, the whispers in the ear are your guides
Yep,
telling you, and they won't give you fear. There'll be whispers. It'll feel good. You're not going to have fear because they're there to support and love you and help you. So you're not going to get in a panic when you're communicating with your guides. And Tom, when he was, if you're unfamiliar with his most benevolent outcome or most benevolent prayer, sometimes called MBO or MBP, um, you'll see a lot of literature on the internet, as well as many other podcasters, YouTube channels, many other psychics, YouTube channels. Tom has been a guest spreading the word how to do these prayers. So these prayers that you say out loud, because you said the human voice is very powerful. There's
very
something
powerful.
spiritual about the human voice. Could you tell us about that for
Scientists
those who
just don't
didn't?
know about that yet. You know, I had been told straight from Creator. Creator said, you know, to there's great power in your prayers. And I might mention that if you don't want to say your prayers like I do, it doesn't matter as long as you say your prayers out loud, because that goes directly to the universe. And Creator's listening. Creator, uh, I speak to Creator these days too, and Creator says I can have a trillion conversations or communications even beyond your understanding, all going on at the same time. And so just ask to speak to me, and I'll answer even the most trivial questions that you have. So explore, especially I think this year I've asked to talk to Creator at least three or more times, I think. And uh, just, read and see what Creator has to say, or
Because
the questions that people ask me to ask.
creator's loving. Creator's loving. Creator's not trying
Creator
to
loves
destroy you or punish
every
you
single
or
thing in its creation. And I used to hear all the time from Theo, my guardian angel, that Creator loves variety. Okay, well, I thought it was that applied to just Earth, so to speak, thinking of ourselves.
yeah.
But uh, I was told that that Creator, all the trillions of of gosh, all,
Because there's so many different types of beings in the universe.
yes, yes, but all these uh, trillions of things that go on, the creator, uh, every single one of them are different.
Yes.
The creator created every single thing to be different.
Mm.
And can you imagine trillions of galaxies and every single one of them being different from the others? I mean, now that's variety.
That is variety. We thought our fingerprints were unique.
Yeah,
That's
right.
so much more. Oh my gosh.
And I read a lot of the UFO and UAP stuff. Um, and they're guessing, oh, we know there's at least four different varieties of ETs. There's, the ones like from the Pleiades that look like us. There's the
Yeah.
reptilians. There's the insectoid,
Mhm.
and there was one other I can't remember. But we're going to find out there's just like millions of different
You know what, Tom?
kinds of people out there.
Can I have you back and we can talk about that? Your
Mhm.
conversations with ETs?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had some, but I've had it with the ones that look like us. They're just taller and
yeah, sort of like the
really
Nordics.
gorgeous. Huh?
Yeah, sort of like the Nordics. Uh,
Yes, I think that. Yeah, I found that out recently on the internet. I started having experience visions with them in a different dimension
yeah,
about 40 years ago. So they told me a lot about the earth changes. They're like guardians of the planet. They love Mother Earth.
yeah. The Nordics. A real quick story on that,
Yeah,
and
I'd love to hear.
jump on. Um, I started getting emails or reading stuff uh, on the internet about this blonde man and woman in these beautiful blue suits, and they were
Yes,
just
blue.
gorgeous. Do what?
Blue. They all wore blue. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just remembering.
Okay. And just gorgeous people and gorgeous wear.
Yeah.
And and they actually visited Las Vegas and they were on this escalator and they were saying, well, this is going pretty good. It looks like we're doing okay. And,
Uh-huh.
and thinking that nobody could pick up their telepathic thoughts. But but there are people that don't realize they can, but we all can. And
Yeah.
and sure enough, somebody picked them up and started kind of following them. And then they were in another place, and I'm sorry I can't remember where it was. And uh, uh, there was this girl that lady that you know they were again talking telepathically, so she started following him, and and so they wound up going down this grassy hill, and so she followed him. But then she said there was this guy that looked like Lurch from the
Oh, it's totally different.
well,
Oh,
Lurch
from the
from
Addams family, right? Is that
yeah,
the
from the
Addams
Addams family.
family?
Sorry, and
Yeah.
and so they were really really surprised that anybody could pick up on them. So so I asked about that, and I was told yes, these were like two people. These were Pleiadians from the Pleiades, but they were like on a vacation sightseeing to Earth. They wanted to see it for themselves. And so
Wow.
they came to the Pleiades ship. That's a mothership that's real large, and that's where sort of they hung
Yes.
out. But then they came,
Huge. Yeah.
yeah, then they came down to Earth to see it for themselves. And they were kind of naive, thinking that nobody would notice them, except that, and they should have worn like Earth clothes, but no, they just wore what they wore on their home world, which was gorgeous fabric that is non-existent on Earth. And and so I asked, well, are they still on your mothership? I was asking the Palladian this, and he said, no, they've returned back to their home world.
Mm. It's so interesting that you say how gorgeous they are because I remember when I encountered them, like on multiple occasions, like I would get distracted. I'm trying to have a sort of a conversation. I'm speaking, they're telepathic, but I'm speaking, and then I'm distracted looking at them because they're so friggin' gorgeous. Like I used to not know what this was about. I used to call them the Swedish models, space travelers, and
Now
and
you know a little bit about them.
yeah, and they all wore blue, and they were all light, like very fair, and they're tall. Tall. I mean, that's why I call them models because they were not just gorgeous, but they were tall and slender.
Exactly. I think that came out in what I either read or heard or something like that, that they look like models because
They
they're
really,
just these gorgeous people, and people can't help but notice them. But
you can't help it. I mean, you just want to stare like, and I used to, at that time, I worked in the business with models. I, worked on set. I told you I was a photo stylist and all that, and a long time ago. And yeah, I had a lot of experiences with them, and I always felt good. It felt very natural to be with them, and I never asked like who they were. I don't know why. You think that would be the first question.
mhm.
And the ship was massive. But I'd love to have you wrote a book all about this.
Yeah,
About
first contact
conversations.
conversations with an ET.
Yeah. Because
Oh,
when I had this happen to me, the only information out in the world was the normal ET, like the Greys. First contact conversations with an ET.
yep. We can always take that one up next time, or maybe you can read about Atlantis and Lemuria, which goes all the way back to the start of the
Do you
uh,
know what?
Earth experiment.
Well, I'm enjoying my time with you, Tom. I'd have you on for like I don't know how much time you have to come
Well,
on
we need to wind it up.
to go.
I've
But
got several questions I've got to fill in for my session tomorrow morning.
oh, thank you so much. Well, I'll contact you about the future. After my surgery, we'll pick a date and we'll either do Lemuria because I got to read the book I bought and Atlantis and or the ET if that's okay with you.
When will you post these?
I'm going to post these right away, like at midnight. So I always do a drop at midnight. So
Okay.
today we're recording both videos on August 15th, and I'll be posting the introductory one midnight August 16th Eastern time and midnight August 17th for this one
Oh, okay.
about the 2026 changes.
Well, be sure to send me the link so I can put it in the newsletter.
Oh, I definitely will.
So don't forget, everybody, you can get my free newsletter,
Free.
little push here. Sign up right on my website, www.thegentleWaybook.com, and you can get the free newsletter. So, uh, and you could send me in questions, but just check to make sure that I haven't asked them before.
Now, I should do a PSA for I'm available for private readings and I do have a tarot party on September 7th where I do mini reads. But Tom, I know you are, very intuitive, but do you do anything with people personally, private readings of any sort?
No, I just don't have time between, um, I'm in business, so that takes time.
That's right, you have
And
a whole other career.
so, yeah, uh, it's like running as fast as I can. And
I know you have a whole other career, and besides being a best-selling author of 8 books, and you're so kind. Do you sleep, Tom?
I do. I make sure that I at least make a little time, and so we'll get together again and see what we can talk about.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. And anyone, please like and share and subscribe for free. And let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any questions, you can ask them of me, especially some of the subject matter in the future that we will talk about.
Sure, and in the past lives and all sorts of things.
Past lives, yeah, whatever your request. Thank you, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Namaste,
Thanks for
namaste,
joining
everybody.
us. Namaste, yes.